of you. Why is that? You're hiding yourself today? Oh, here
No,
we
here I
go.
am.
Here I am. There we go, side by side on my end.
Wow. Good morning.
Nice. Good morning to you. See, you got my hoodie sweatshirt on up here because it's New England and it's the end of September, and we're waking up and temperatures are like 50 degrees.
50.
50 with a 5. And it
50 is nice.
gets into the 70s by the end of the afternoon. It's been a lousy weekend weather-wise. I shouldn't say lousy, but it's been rain all weekend, so most outdoor events have been postponed. It was a shame. We were talking briefly last time about the Natick Porch Fest 2023.
Oh,
We
yeah,
were
how'd
talking
it
about
go?
this last time.
Yeah,
It
how'd that
didn't.
go?
It didn't. We got canceled for rain because it was all outside. So the whole thing got canceled yesterday. Today was the rain date, but they canceled the whole weekend because it's raining today also.
So that's funny because I was trying to get frisky with my wife,
Sure.
and she
You got
canceled me.
canceled?
She canceled because it rained.
Oh,
Wow.
well, as much as I was looking forward to the gig, I guess you were probably more disappointed than I was.
Yeah, but I've had a lot of gigs.
Yeah. It was I was looking for it was a very different gig, it was a kind of a cool community thing with 20 people, 20 homeowners donated their porches
Wow, that's awesome.
for live music, so there's gonna be live music on these porches from 2 to 4 and from 4 to 6. And there was a walking map on the website, kind of a cool event. And as I've chatted with friends around this, not most, some people have heard of this. Like lots of towns do this Porch Fest thing. So we'll look forward to catching up with it next year.
what's funny is that when you told me about that, I actually thought about getting a flight and going up there and go surprise you and go to the thing. Good thing I didn't, huh?
Good thing you didn't, although that's just like you, and that would have been a lot of fun. And we would have had, still face VIP seating, of course.
Yeah. Wow.
So it was interesting that I had a work appointment yesterday morning early, 8:30 on a Saturday morning. It was local, so not a big deal. And I was not feeling great. I was just run down. I wasn't sick. I'm just like, I've just been running hard. Business has been crazy busy. And on top of the full-time job being crazy busy, I'm always juggling 2 or 3 other things. So
Yeah.
just run down. And I was feeling like, yes, like, I feel like I might be coming down with something. And I don't think I was. It was just like, I just got to chill. So the whole day got canceled on me yesterday. I'm like, okay, I'm going to dress just like this and sit on the couch and watch movies and ordered a pizza in, and just that's all I did.
Yeah.
So, in fact, I think that's my plan for today also. So, but I got a big
So,
week coming up, and big week. So,
so I got to have a little bit of a coffee thing here because I'm
I
almost
like
empty.
that.
Oh, nice.
I really you really are branding us way better than I am.
So the Patriots aren't looking so good this year so far, huh?
I know that to be true, 0-2. Although, to be honest with you, I haven't watched any football yet. This is that funny time of year. I like sports, but I'm a baseball guy. And so now we're like 5, 6, 8 games left in the season, vying for playoff slots. I've become, and over recent years, I've become a bigger baseball fan than I am a Red Sox fan.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, I love the Sox. And I love the Mets because I grew up there, but I'm really a fan of the sport. And this is a time where it's getting exciting and football's just starting. And so I can't embrace football yet. I haven't seen one play. And so there it is. But they're not looking good. I heard that. How's Tampa Bay? You guys are doing your 1-1?
2-0.
2-0. Oh, now I see why you're bringing it up. All right, now it
Oh,
all comes together. It all comes together for me now. I get it.
hold on. Now I had stuck into some family members yesterday, and I says, "Hey, what's going on with the Patriots? The Buccaneers at 2-0." And they said, "Well, everybody always wondered if the Patriots was all because of Belichick or
Of
Brady.
course. Yeah.
But now they notice it's not Belichick, it's Brady that made all this stuff happen."
Well, There's an argument to support that, no question.
Yeah, I don't know.
I do try to watch YouTube. I just go to YouTube and somebody posts the Sports Center top 10 plays each day. So I watch those. It's a 3-minute loop. And and sometimes they post the top 10 not great plays of the day or the week, and those are
Yeah,
fun to
yeah.
watch also. So I did see one little clip on YouTube, and everybody was making a joke about it when Belichick threw the flag down in front of the ref, and he made a big deal about it. Yeah, so I saw that. I have no idea what it was even about, but he looks like a grouchy guy, like he always does. So, but yeah, certainly with Brady leaving and going to the Buccaneers, and winning a Super Bowl, and New England hasn't done much since he left. It's interesting to talk about legacy and who was stronger than the other, because the Brady Belichick combination was record setting, but Brady has certainly done more since the split than Belichick has.
Yeah, and then when he came to Tampa, first year and for him,
Boom.
I mean, for the team
Yeah.
to win the Super Bowl, that was just amazing.
It was amazing. It was amazing. And looking back, I think a lot of people probably would have hoped that he had retired from the game then on top. But I get not wanting to and divorcing a supermodel as a result. I get it.
So I was talking to my sister. I was talking to my sister the other day, yesterday.
Which sister? Which sister is this?
The one you went to her house one time, Teresa.
Okay. Yep. I do remember Teresa.
Yeah. So I asked her about what's going on with the Patriots. We had a conversation about that, but then I told her about my pride and joy thing with Mike Allstott. She was
Hold
dying.
on. I'm not sure I recognize that. I know this. So for the audience, Mike Allstott is who? Let's give us the whole story.
Well, he was the fullback for the Patriots. I mean, for the Buccaneers,
Buccaneers.
number 40. He was like they call him the A train because he would plow through everybody. And
And he was a
everybody,
big name. He was a lot of people's favorite player on the Buccaneers.
yeah,
Yes.
and they call him the A train. So a lot of people that went to the games would have these whistles that are like a train whistle.
Yep. Oh,
They blow the whistle. It was really cool.
yeah, I can hear it.
So he retired, and I was working for a company. The company was called justlookitup.com. It was like
Just looking.
just like the yellow pages, but instead of having phone numbers and stuff, all it was an ad for the companies with the
The website.
website. Yeah, just lookitup.com. So
Interesting.
I was working there, and it was up on the third floor over a bank.
Okay.
And I was in the elevator, hit the button, and the doors were closed, and all of a sudden somebody hit the button on the outside, and the doors opened back up, and Mike Allstott walked in.
And you recognized them immediately.
Oh, of course, yes. I says, Mike Allstott, what are you doing here? He goes, well, I'm going to be talking at a sales meeting upstairs on the third floor. I says, wait a minute, I work upstairs on the third floor. What are you
I'm in
doing?
sales.
What are you doing over doing a sales? He says, well, I'm one of the investors in the company. He says, oh, wow, that's great. So because of that, now I have to show you a picture of my pride and joy. He goes, oh yeah, what's that? When I showed it to him, he just laughed like he laughed a lot. It was amazing. So then during a sales meeting, he says, by the way, guys, I get the privilege of meeting Tony this morning with his, he showed me his pride and joy. If you haven't seen it yet, you got to make sure you see it. It's awesome. Right. So that was kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
And then that company was promoting the mixed martial arts fights over in Tampa.
Yeah.
At the fairgrounds, wherever it's called. And so, you know how they always have the weigh-in like the night before or something?
Oh, yeah.
So there's a place called the Pepin Distributors, which is a distributor of beer and wine and stuff and liquors. And they had a dinner for the people that went to go to the weigh-in, whatever is anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Weigh in. Yep.
So there's like 12 tables of 10 people on each table. It was like a dinner thing. And it was expensive. They go there. Most of those people who were there were like famous people and just athletes and so on, whatever. So Mike Allstott comes up and he says, hey, Tony, you have your pride and joy with you? I says, yeah. He goes, let's go for a walk. This is a true story, man. He went over to the first table and says, hey, this is my friend Tony. He wants to show you a picture of his pride and joy. So I showed it to people, but not everybody could see. I had to go around the table because not everybody could see from the other side of the table. and he went to all 12 tables, and he was laughing. He was having such a great time. It was like amazing. And
Oh,
he's, I told my sister to watch some of the Michael Start highlights videos.
yeah, yeah.
He was just plowed through where everybody. It was just amazing. That's why they call him the A Train. He was just, but he was so cool.
That's so funny. How long did you work for this company? He was an owner in the company?
He was an investor in the company, yeah.
And
And
how long did you work with these guys? Was
I was
this
there
a
for about
short?
I was there for about a year or so. But what happened? They the first book that they produced was nice, but then the second one, it was like the quality was terrible.
Wow.
You know, it was like the color was so. A lot of the people that I sold the advertisements to said, "Hey, what's going on? This well, I'm not happy with this." I said, "Yeah, I know." So I says, "I'm not going to do this. I went to do something else." But
You know, it's funny you say that because I had sold Yellow Page advertising for a short time. This is, God, I hadn't thought about this story for a long time. Back in the day, there was, we were always in and out of, we're in the sales world. And so you start to hear about other things. And there was always this undercurrent. Like if you got into advertising, there was always this like, oh, the people who have it made, the people who were 9X Yellow Page sales guys, because the 9X book was like this, and there was dozens of them everywhere, and
yeah,
it was all renewals. And once these guys were established, they would just go around and sign up their renewals who had to be in the book. Certain businesses have to be in the Yellow Pages, had to be. And these guys would make 200 grand a year and just run around and renew all their people. And look what's happened. I mean, the whole thing went away with the internet. And I jumped into, what was I doing before that? I answered an ad for, and it was a company that was an independent Yellow Pages company in the Boston area trying to compete with 9X. And they had a funny little thing. It was called the talking phone book. And so in the ad, they would have a code you could hit, and you'd actually hear over your phone an audio advertisement as well as the Yellow Page. It was called the talking phone book. So they're trying to work voicemail into this whole thing. And then what they did was they decided to take their phone book and make it smaller than an iPad. I mean, so it was like a paperback book
yeah,
size.
yeah, yeah.
And customers and advertisers were freaking out saying, this is insane. Now my ad's even smaller. And so in terms of as a percentage of the page, it was the same, but the book was smaller. And
Right,
our thing was, hey, listen, you got a stack of Yellow Pages. Where's this one going to be? Right on top, because it's the smallest book. And we tried to spin that. That didn't work so well. And I remember I was having a tough time kind of getting that started and getting some traction. And it's some very good training. But I remember the day there was an emergency sales meeting at whatever it was, 3 o'clock on a Wednesday. So all the reps come back in. There were probably 75 people in this office. We were based in Needham. And I remember talking to the sales manager and saying, he says to me, I'm so naive. I still am. I'm so about all this stuff. He said, the last time I got called into one of these, it didn't go so well. I'm like, what are you talking about? And of course they closed the company, boom, that day, everybody's out. And fascinating. God, when was that? And what did I do after that? I think that was before I started my food business in 1990. My
yeah.
God,
Wow.
time just gets compressed. But I hadn't thought about that Yellow Page story for a long time.
So when I did the second book, everybody that had played in the quality of the photos and stuff, it was like terrible. So a lot of people quit, and they actually closed the company down. But that's when I became the part-time ballet instructor.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah, that was all right. I mean, I wasn't making a lot of money. It was fun. It was important.
I mean, chase your passion. You got to, sometimes it's about passion, not about income. You know what I mean?
The other job that I took is I was selling milking machines, right?
Milking?
Milking machines, where they hook up the cows to milk them.
Sure.
So there's one guy. This is one of my best sales ever. I sold him 2 milking machines, and he only had 1 cow, and I took the cow as down payment. Wow.
Oh, boy.
It's amazing how I make all these stories like that up, and people think it's just real. You're selling milking machines? I said, yeah.
That's funny.
In the ballet instructor, people believe I did that too as well.
I always remember that was the punchline to your story being a figure skater.
But I went over to I think I told you this before. I went to the horse track over here in Tampa, over near
Yeah.
my. It's actually Knowlesmire actually. I wanted to see if I could get a part-time job as a jockey.
Oh yeah.
And they said, "Sir, you don't qualify." I said, "Why not?" They said, "Well, you're too tall." I don't know.
That's what they said. That's what they said. Wow.
Oh boy.
That
But
is
I
too.
had one job that was a part-time job, and my I got fired for that one because my job was to pick the fly shit out of pepper, the ground pepper. But because I couldn't see it so well, sometimes I'd have to taste it, and then they says, "Oh, you can't be eating the product. You're out."
The product.
Wow. I should write a book about all the jobs I've had. Actually, I've had a lot of jobs over the years.
Either that or a joke book,
Oh,
perhaps.
that could be funny.
Just a thought. Some of those jobs we had together, actually, in all of our. That's so funny. I think you got me beat, but we had a couple together over the years. That was fun.
So one time I was on stage at the Coconuts Comedy Club in St. Pete.
Yeah.
And one of my friends was the headliner, so I was there. I did 10 minutes, whatever, and he introduced me to the owner of the club. So at the end of the night, the owner of the club says, "Hey, Tony, so what do you think about this place?" I says, "Well, I usually don't complain, but I have a big, huge complaint about this place." He goes, "What's the matter?" I said, "What's the matter?" I went to the bathroom. There's a sign on the mirror that says employees must wash hands. I waited 25 minutes. Nobody came in. I had to wash my own hands. That's baloney. Boom.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Too funny. Too funny.
Too funny, yeah.
Oh,
So some of these guys I watch that do podcasts, they actually wear like headphones. I'm not sure if I should be doing that or not. What do you think?
that's not bad.
No?
I mean, Jeff Goldblum in The Fly.
Oh boy.
I've been watching. So I came across this YouTube channel, and oftentimes I'll sit down to watch them. Not often, watch a movie, or Lynn and I will sit like, let's watch a movie, and we can spend 15 minutes just trying to pick one. Scrolling and
Yeah, yeah,
going
yeah.
through Netflix and Amazon, and what do you want to watch, and we're both so nice, like I don't care and back and forth. Like 20 minutes later, we haven't picked a movie. So there's this guy named Darren Van Dam who has a YouTube channel, and he has like 20 great movies on Netflix you don't know exist, and all these different subgenres. And these videos are, I don't know, 15 minutes long, 12, 18, depending on it. And so I started watching, and because he shows clips of the movies and he talks about them, and I start taking notes in my phone. I'm like, this is genius. And so now I can go to what I feel like watching. So there was one of these videos in my long rest day yesterday that he talked about a movie called Tell No One. And I'm like, why do I recognize that? And I realized it was a book written by a guy named Harlan Coben, who's a pretty well-known fictional author, writer. And I've read several books by this guy. I'm like, oh, well, I'll watch that one. So last night I went to bring this thing up, and it was in French, and it was subtitled in English. And I don't have a problem with subtitles. I just didn't have the energy on my sick day yesterday to kind of do this.
Yeah, yeah.
Because after a while, you start reading the stuff and you don't even realize you're doing it. But also, it was French for the first 10 minutes. And I realized, so I learned how to go into my TV and turn the subtitles on. I was pretty proud of myself there. And then I realized 3 minutes later, like, I don't have the energy for this. So I got out of it and I brought something else up. I don't remember what it was. And then I had to go back in and turn the subtitles off because now I'm watching a movie in English and they're subtitling it for me. But I wasn't ready for a movie written by an American author to be in French.
So my friend Tom Toscano, we go for the clutch on a regular basis.
Our friend, I thought that's like you're including me. Our friend, I don't know this. Do I know Tom? I
No,
know the name.
but we go to a clutch. We don't say go for coffee. We go for a coffee clutch.
Oh, Coffee Clutch. I like this.
So he was telling me, man, there's a movie you got to watch. I said, what's that? He goes, it's called A Million Miles Away. I says, oh, really? He says, it's on Netflix. I said, oh, cool. So the other day I was sitting with Terry. Says, hey, I got to search for a movie. So she goes, what is it? So I'm typing it in, and it's called A Million Miles Away. She goes, we watched that last night. So I didn't know that was the title, but it's a
Oh,
great
that's
movie, though.
funny. Did you like it? Should we watch it again? Did
Movie
we
is
like
awesome.
it?
Movie
That's
is
the
awesome,
better
actually.
one. Did
Yeah,
we like it?
yeah, the movie's really good. We didn't watch it again, but so
A Million
I
Miles
called Tom and
Away.
says, hey, you know that movie? I was looking for it, but I actually had watched it already. I just didn't know what the title of the movie was. A Million Miles Away.
I'm writing it down. When Terry said we watched that last night, you could have, then your next question could have been, did we like it?
Oh, we did like it. It's a good movie.
Oh my goodness. I was watching some comedian. Here's becoming the big thing on all the social media platforms. There's this one guy who I enjoy him a lot. He will film his wife as he's playing the audio of a joke just to get her reaction, and they're terrific. I love these two. And so I remember one of the comedians that he was filming her, but the guy was saying, um, "So I'm married. I'm happily married. I asked my wife, and she told me I was." And that reminded me of, that whole movie thing. Did we like it? So I got a whole list of movies, some subtitled and some not. But if I see anything really good, I'll let you know.
So I had a young lady at the convenience store where I go get my gas. And sometimes I buy a lotto ticket. So I said to her, listen, I want to buy one of those Powerballs, but if you give me the right numbers, I'll send you a postcard from Hawaii. She says, well, you're very kind. I says, whoa, it's better than nothing.
Funny you said that. I was down in Orlando. In fact, I'm going back to Orlando in early November. I have a 1-day event I got to be at, but I was at this back in April, and it was fairly small, 250 people in the room, 1-day thing. And as you're going in, registered, which I think it cost nothing to register, which is ironic. They had, little door prize tickets they give you. And so I get going with the woman who gave me the ticket. I'm like, is this a winning ticket? And she's like, absolutely. And the whole thing turns out I did win something that day. But it was one of those they just keep pulling to try to give everybody something. So, but it was pretty cool. And I walked out and I'm like, hey, you weren't kidding. She's like, I do what I can.
So there was a time where there was a big jackpot, and there was a lady with her daughter in line at Publix, the grocery store, to get a ticket.
Yeah.
And there was an older lady behind her, and she said, "Hey, you go first. Go ahead. It's okay." She goes, "Oh no, no, go ahead. I'm in no rush. You go ahead." So lets the lady get through, and get in front of her. Well, I think the funny thing is that older lady that she let her go first won the big jackpot, and then she was interviewed by the local news station. Says the only thing is there was a lady that was there with her little daughter, and she let me go ahead of her, and I did a quick pick, so it wasn't like I was
Right.
I didn't have numbers, and I won. So I'd love to find out who she was because I really want to give her a portion of it. That's just not fair, right? So somehow in the news that happened, and
And
somebody
3,000 people called in and said, I was that person.
no, but the story was that they found out who it was,
They did.
and she gave her a big chunk of money.
Wow.
I
Wow.
would,
That's
I would say I'll be glad to send you a postcard from Hawaii if you give me the right numbers. I'm so
I
generous.
like that. I do like that line. That's funny.
But that lady the young lady at the store says, "Man, you're so crazy. Every time you come in, you always make me laugh." I says, "That's because you're easy."
And that's also your gift. So you got an easy audience, you got your gift.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a win right there.
Wow.
So the country trio I'm playing in the Nate Ramos band, which is
Yeah.
great stuff. If you're Spotify, iTunes, this young gentleman is going to do something big in the country music world. And so this was the two guys I met back in April. We needed a drummer for one night. And so now we've got this trio we're booked through next May. So, but this coming Wednesday, do you remember this big county fair event out in Springfield up here called the Big E? I guess it's exposition. It goes on for 2 weeks or 10 days over 2 weekends. It's a big, hundreds of thousands of people. And so we have a slot. We're playing Wednesday afternoon this week from 3 to 4:30 at the Big E. And they have to have pictures of our license plates because we got to get in through a certain gate to load in and all sorts of fun stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. That should be fun.
Do they have videos on YouTube?
Yeah, if you search Nate Ramos Band or Nate Ramos Music on Instagram, there's all sorts of stuff out there.
Nate Ramos?
Yeah, Ramos, Nate Ramos. In fact, he just texted me. So this is funny. We had a
Well, there's a
he's talking what weather, he says. Wednesday says 70 and no rain in Springfield. That's nice. Of course, this is a big stage with we're under roof. It's kind of outdoors, but it's all protected.
So you know that I've speak several languages.
I do know that.
So when you said Ramos, you spelled that out.
You don't need that.
But you didn't.
In fact, I don't think many people need that, but I just threw it out there just to, as a protectant for you.
You didn't spell out Nate.
I didn't. I figured the 4-letter words you're good with. I just wanted to jump in on the 5 and greater and help you.
You know what? I speak 4 languages.
4.
Portuguese, Portuguese, Spanish, English, and profanity.
Profanity. Do you speak profanity in Portuguese? You could, I guess, if you wanted.
All 4 languages.
Oh, even profanity and profanity. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Too funny. So I've been putting together, I'm really excited about this. So my son Zach lives in Colorado for 6 months in our summer in the golf world, and then he moves to Florida for our winter to stay in the golf world. He lives out in Lakeland, and so he finishes like October 20th, 22nd in Colorado, and then starts in Florida about November 1st. And I was going to go see him in Colorado, and he said, to be honest with you, Dad, I'm too busy. I'm working literally 7 days a week right through till we close because making hay when the sun shines, money's good. I go, all right, no problem. I'll come see you in Florida, which I would do anyway. But I realized I got to be in Orlando on November 4th. And so I called him and I said, I'm assuming you start on the 1st, but it's going to be slow. Can you get a couple days and I'll come down early and we'll play some golf? And he said, yeah. So initially, I thought my event was going to be in Dallas. And so I was looking for places to play between Florida and Dallas. And I came across this Robert Trent Jones is a golf course designer, well-known guy. And he's been out, decades and decades and hundreds of courses around the country, Robert Trent Jones design. So I found this Robert Trent Jones trail, which is 26 golf courses designed by him all throughout the state of Alabama. And what happened was there was a public employee pension fund with a lot of money in it. And somebody thought years ago, let's take some of that money and invest it into the state with these golf courses and attract tourism. And it was a huge success. So I just learned about this last month. And so I texted Zach. I mean, do you like Robert Trent Jones golf courses? Because he's nothing but golf, and so he knows everything, and he's a phenomenal player as well. And he's like, yeah, because he knows designers and what their courses look like and what their themes are. And so next we start talking about separately this golf trip in Florida. And we're looking, Innisbrook, which is up north of Tampa, and we're looking at the resorts. And he knows it. He's like, you're not going to get your bang for the buck there. And he says, why don't we do something different? And he brought up this Robert Trent Jones trail up in Alabama. So I've been looking at things and online, and I'm trying to coordinate him driving from Colorado, me flying into Montgomery. This is like on Monday before Halloween, and playing golf, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday up in Alabama, different courses, and then working my way down to Orlando, and he'll just go right to Lakeland. So I'm having fun in the planning process. Have you been to Panama City up in the Panhandle?
Yeah.
It looks beautiful. I've always wanted to see it. So I'm thinking about finishing our golf after 3 days and heading there for an overnight and doing a nice dinner right on the water or something like that. And I think it's about 5 hours to Orlando the next day from there.
So the Panhandle is really cool. There's a place I go there once in a while. It's really nice. It's St. George Island.
St. George Island.
Yeah, really cool. And so when you go up towards the Panhandle, you can go to I-10 and go across the Tallahassee and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't do that. There's a road where you can go along the edge of the water,
Yeah.
and it's so cool because you get the water on the left side as you're driving, and it's
Oh,
just
must be gorgeous. And they said this water is like crystal clear, white sand beaches. I've often heard people say the Panhandle is kind of like this unknown part of Florida in terms of beautiful beaches.
so what's interesting when the first time I went there, I go to Lake St. George Island. I could have sworn if I didn't know that I was in Alabama because everybody has like a southern.
Well, an accent.
It's just amazing. It's Florida, but it's like it's a different Florida.
You know who I've been following? Speaking of Alabama, Andy Andrews. Remember him?
Oh yeah, he was funny.
The greatest, right? Fun. We saw him live and tapes and all that. And so since then, he has a podcast. He's really he's spectacular, and he's really trying to take his humor, and he doesn't lead with that as much as just trying to make a difference and bringing value to people. He's got a tremendous podcast. What is that called? But he's funny on it, but he really has some very compelling guests.
Yeah,
And
he
he
was
talks
really
about
funny.
all sorts of cool stuff. Do you know his podcast? I'm looking for it right
I don't know, no.
now. Oh, it's really good. And he's just fun. I've seen he's gotten a couple of there's a book, The Noticer. That might be the name of the podcast too. Now it's all coming together for me. It's funny when you scroll through your podcasts. There it is, The Professional Noticer. So
Uh,
check that out. The Professional Noticer. It's a podcast. Andy Andrews, and we got some history. But he's from Alabama. That's why I brought this up. Speaking of Southern accents, and when you continue across that Panhandle, Florida stops, and it becomes Gulf Shores, Alabama, which must be just as beautiful. I mean, that whole Gulf Coast. Gulf Shores.
the professional
So,
what?
noticer, as in I'm noticing something. Noticer, Noticer, noticer.
So
And he's,
I talked to the Bo Short the other day not too long ago.
did you?
Yeah, because a friend Gary Dubendorfer passed away.
Oh, he knew him, yeah.
Yeah, and they were really close. So I was talking to him about it, and he's like, "Wow, crazy, crazy."
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Andy Andrews was awesome. I always loved listening to him.
I'd love to have a conversation with Bo Short. You've spoken so highly of him over the years, and he and I have never talked or met. Maybe you could put that together, a little three-way call. I'd like to see what he's up to these days.
He's a good man. Yeah, I'll check him.
Yeah, Angie, I think do you remember that book? I was just going through my garage and finding, just cleaning it out and getting rid of all this stuff and boxes of books. And Andy Andrews had written a book called Storms of Perfection. If you remember that one, it was all about people and their all the hurdles they had to overcome, all the obstacles on the way before they got to success, and it was
Yeah.
spectacular.
So I'm reading a new book on little short stories.
Short story. Oh, you're writing a book or you're reading?
I'm reading it. Short stories.
Oh yeah, short stories.
So my friend Mike Posey, that was the first one I did the podcast with. He's
I
writing
didn't know his last name, but yes, I'm familiar.
he's writing a book, and the book is called what are those guys that are guys that kill people by but they were like uh
Oh, Assassins?
yeah, it's assassin.
That's pretty good because you didn't give me much and I got it.
He said assassin sent by God or something like that. That's the name of the title of the book.
What's the title? Assassin?
Um,
That's a
assassin
tough. Okay.
assassin sent by God or something like that.
Oh, wow.
So what happens is
Intriguing title. I wonder what that's about.
He already had three different offers to buy the book. He's not finished. He's almost finished, but they already offered him some good money. But he said no. He's gonna do it and wait and finish it, and it's gonna be his book.
So I know several people who've written many, many books complete, actually have self-published and sell them on Amazon and have never gotten a publishing deal. This guy's got a publishing offer without even having finished the book.
Yeah,
That's pretty amazing.
yeah. He's actually a smart guy, and he's cool.
You should maybe hitch your wagon to that star and maybe do a podcast with this guy. Who knows what could happen?
He wants to do another one. I don't know. Did I tell you that?
Yeah. I'm ready for my pink slip. Whenever it happens, it
He wants to do
happens.
something like that. Sarasota STEM or some.
Oh, that's right. I forgot to check him out. I had an idea last week for another podcast myself, as a matter of fact. So
Yeah.
if in fact you rejoin him and I get a pink slip, I'm ready. I can
Oh
handle
no,
it.
no,
I got my next plan ready to go.
no. You and I are like this, man.
We are
By the way,
just ask anybody who watches or listens.
so when your son goes from Colorado to Florida to go off the wear winter shorts in Florida?
No, he doesn't wear his winter shorts because he gets there for November. So it's not oh, that's too funny. The winter
So
shorts.
that
Winter shorts thing has shown up a couple times in this podcast, hasn't it?
you know the thing that we like to keep these things under 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we're
I've
getting
gotten some compliments, by the way. I've had a couple of compliments from our viewership and listenership saying, wow, you guys are really doing this on your terms. See if we can keep that streak going.
yeah we're getting I think we're at 40 minutes now, so we probably should
Yeah, I'm looking at the remaining time. So we'll shut it down.
yeah.
I'm going to keep you I'm very excited about this golf trip in Alabama with my son, and I will keep you posted as to the details. This Wednesday, Nate Ramos Band is playing the Big E, so I'll keep you posted on that too. I got a lot of excitement. Got a couple of conventions I'm going to. I'm hosting an event this Thursday night. I got a bunch of cool stuff happening.
So you're playing with him this weekend?
No, we're playing Wednesday. This coming Wednesday, 27th at the Big E.
Big E?
The Big E. It's a huge, gigantic thing out in Springfield. Yeah. It goes on for 10 days, over 2 weekends. Hundreds of thousands of people come to this. It's like a huge county fair.
I was gonna go to Springfield one time, and I got the gardener, and I turned around.
I don't blame you.
No, come on.
I get out there a lot just because of my job brings me all the way out to the Berkshires. And so I got the Western Mass territory. So I don't even call Springfield Western Mass anymore.
See, the good thing of my job as a ballet instructor, it's always the same place. I don't have to go all over the way.
I got it. Have you ever done no dancing in Springfield? Have you?
No.
Hold on. You're not performing at the Big E also, are you? All right. We're wrapping it up.